What is the primary function of a network security group in Azure? An NSC functions as a filter for network traffic from Azure resources within a virtual network. By default, what level of a control or security exists for traffic flowing between subnets in an Azure virtual network without an NSC? There is no specific control or security. Traffic can flow to any resource within the environment. Security group or NSC relies on a set of five criteria known as the DAS to filter traffic, known as five tuples. What are the five tuples that an Azure Network Security Group (NSC) uses to evaluate traffic? Source IP address, destination IP address, source port, destination port, and protocol. At which two levels within an Azure virtual network can a network security group (NSC) be associated? An NSC can be associated at the subnet level or at the network interface card level (NIC level). Can a network security group (NSC) be associated directly with an entire virtual network? No, an NSC cannot be associated directly with a virtual network. It must be associated with a subnet or a NIC within it. How many network security groups (NSCs) can a single subnet or network interface card be associated with at one time? A single subnet or NIC can only be associated with one NSC at a time. Can a single network security group (NSC) be associated with multiple resources such as several subnets or NICs? Yes, a single NSC can be created and then associated with multiple subnets and or network interface cards. If you need to associate a subnet that is already linked to an NSC with a different NSC, what must you do first? You must first disassociate the subnet from the existing NSC before you can associate it with a new one. When inbound traffic is destined for a virtual machine that has NSCs applied at both the subnet and the NIC level, how is the traffic evaluated? The traffic is first evaluated by the rules in the subnet's NSC, and if allowed, it is then evaluated by the rules in the NIC's NSC. For inbound traffic to reach a virtual machine with NSCs on both its subnet and NIC, what must be true of the rules on both NSCs? The traffic must be explicitly allowed by the rules on both the subnet level NSC and the NIC level NSC. Network security groups are described as dash resources, meaning they can automatically manage return traffic for an allowed inbound connection without a separate outbound rule. Stateful. When you create a new network security group in Azure portal, can you edit or delete the default security rules? No, the default security rules that are with every NSC cannot be edited or deleted. What is the priority number of the default inbound rule named allow VNet inbound? The priority number is 65,000. What is the purpose of the default inbound NSC rule allow VNet inbound? It allows all traffic originating from within the same virtual network to travel between resources. What is the priority number of the default inbound rule named allow Azure load balancer inbound? The priority number is 65001. What is the purpose of the default inbound NSC rule allow Azure load balancer inbound? It allows the Azure load balancer's health probe to check the status of backend resources. What is the priority number and action of the final default inbound rule that processes all other traffic? The priority number is 65,500 65500, and its action is deny all inbound. If you are troubleshooting network traffic that is being blocked and the logs show it is hitting the deny all rule, what is the likely cause? You have likely forgotten to create a specific custom rule to allow that particular type of traffic. NSC rules are processed based on their dash number, where the lowest number has the highest precedence, based on their priority number. What happens to traffic evaluation once an NSC finds a rule that matches the traffic? Evaluation stops and the action allow or deny of that rule is applied. No further rules are processed. Here is the valid numerical range for the priority of custom security rules in an NSC. The priority for custom rules can be set to any number between 100 and 4096. In an NSC rule, what does the service tag represent? A service tag represents a group of IP address prefixes from a given Azure service, such as Microsoft.storage or Microsoft.sql. Why is it to create custom deny rules in an NSG? It is generally unnecessary because the default deny all rule at the end of the rule set will block any traffic not explicitly allowed. What is the recommended best practice regarding the starting price for new custom NSC rules? Well away from 100, for example, 500 of 1000, to leave room for inserting higher priority rules later if needed. By default, when you create sequential custom rules in the Azure portal, how much does the priority number increment by? The system automatically increments the priority number by 10 for each new rule. If an NSC has an allow rule for port 80 with priority 500 and a deny rule for port 80 with priority 490, what will happen to inbound port 80 traffic? The traffic will be denied because the deny rule has a lower priority number 490 and is processed fast. What is the maximum number of custom rules you can have per network security group per subscription? You can have a maximum of 1000 custom rules per NSC per subscription. What is the primary purpose of an application security group or ASC in Azure? An ASC is used to group virtual machines with similar functions, allowing you to define network security policies based on those groups. Instead of managing rules based on individual VM IP addresses, you can use an dash to apply rules to a logical group of virtual machines. Application Security Group or ASC. Application security groups or ASCs utilized within NSC or application security groups can be specified as the source or destination in an NSC rule, targeting traffic to or from the group of virtual machines within that ASC. What happens to the scope of an application security group the first time it is associated with the virtual machine's NIC? The ASC becomes bound to the virtual network of that virtual machine and cannot be used for virtual machines in any other virtual network. Unlike NSCs, an application security group or ASC itself does not contain any contain any rules. Doesn't contain any rules. Where in the Azure portal, a virtual machine with an application security group, you associate a virtual machine with an ASC in the networking settings of the virtual machine under the application security groups tab. Consider a subnet with 50 virtual machines where 20 are web servers. How could an ASC simplify allowing HTTP traffic only to the web servers? You could place all 20 web servers in an ASC and create a single NSC rule allowing HTTP traffic to that ASC as the destination. When creating an inbound NSC rule to allow HTTPS traffic to a group of web servers, you can set the destination to application security group and select the specific ASC true or false. True. This allows you to target a rule to a specific group of virtual machines without needing to specify their IP addresses. In inbound HTTP traffic on port 80 is allowed by a subnet label NSC but denied by the NIC label NSC of a VM. Will the traffic reach the VM? No, the traffic will be blocked by the NIC label NSC and will not reach the VM's web server. Thanks for watching.